Hey everybody, and Tony here with a review of the Netherlands Philharmonic Orchestra with Mark Albrecht on the podium, Antje Weithaas on the violin, and Julian Steckel on the cello, who were basically performing at the Concertgebouw in Amsterdam. Now, the theme of this concert is basically the ocean. Why the ocean? Well, it's easy to say that the ocean bears a lot of mystery. Is it because of the various creatures that live under the sea? Or is it because of its majestic beauty whenever we see waves crashing upon the shore? That pretty much is quite complex. And with a theme like this, it definitely got me interested. It just how absolutely engaging the pieces that they played really were, as if not only to convey the majesty or the mystery of the ocean, but also how much power it holds, how much of an elemental force it is, especially to the human mind and even to the human soul. And this was absolutely a very exciting evening with a lot of stellar pieces from three very fantastic composers. The evening started out with Johannes Brahms's concerto for violin, cello, and orchestra. So basically, this concerto began with a very powerful, very booming allegro in which it felt like waves crashing on the shore, as if though I was basically sucked in a tidal wave and I don't even know when to get out. It basically feels like a storm that's about to brew, and it was just that exciting. And then the second movement, which is an andante, is a lot calmer and sweeter and quite melancholic, I might add. And then the third movement, which is a vivace con troppo, was quite sassy and very spunky, very energetic, and it culminates in one huge explosion at the end, which I thought was just absolutely thrilling. And then we have Japanese composer Toshio Hosokawa's Circulating Ocean, which was just mesmerizing. It basically began with a very disquieting stillness, the type of stillness that makes you wonder what's going to happen next. Is something bad going to happen? Is something exciting going to happen? But it's so veiled in mystery, and it's veiled in a lot of wonder. And soon it builds up. The tension of the music builds up. And then it starts to sound a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more disturbing at times, but equally as engaging and very, very exciting, as if though I wasn't just watching the sea, I was, well, underwater and basically swimming for my life. That's the feeling I got with this composition by, well, Toshio Hosokawa. That was just absolutely thrilling. And then after that huge tidal wave where I felt like I was swimming for my life, it all comes down to a very ambiguous yet quite soothing close where I actually wonder or picture myself wondering, wow, where am I right now? This land is strange. It just basically ends on a very disquieting note and a very mysterious one at that, but ultimately very mystical. So it's basically a huge combination of mystery and mysticism and a lot of power and a lot of force that is put on into this music, and it just shows that Hosakawa-san really knows his stuff. He really knows how to set the atmosphere for this type of music to be played, and it was just so majestic. And then the evening concluded with Claude Debussy's La Mer. For those of you not in the know, Claude Debussy is a very well-known French composer from the early 1900s. His best-known work is none other than the opera Pelléas et Mélisande, which I actually saw ever since I was 15 with my dad at the Royal Opera House. Now, going into this composition by Monsieur Debussy, I have to say, it was just absolutely majestic on all levels. The first movement, which is entitled De l'aube à midi sur la mer, was absolutely thrilling. It was so full of fire and passion, and it really kept my adrenaline pumping. And then the second movement, which is Jeu de Vague, was really spunky, very flighty, yet at times a bit disquieting. And then we come to the grand finale, which is Dialogue de vin et de la mer. I honestly feel that this title was a bit misleading. It should have been called The Clash Between the Wind and the Seas. I think it basically added a little bit more subtlety just to say it's basically a dialogue between the wind and the sea. But still, overall, all of these three movements from Claude Debussy's La Mer were all exciting. And I really have to say, everyone from the Netherlands Philharmonic Orchestra, along with the soloists, Miss Weithas and Mr. Steckel, and the conductor himself, Mark Albrecht. And funny fact, I also saw him in Arabella. He was basically the conductor during that time there. And here he is conducting for the Concertgebouw, and he did very fantastically, as always. I mean, come on. He's Mark Albrecht. He does a lot of fantastic works with the orchestra. No matter which orchestra he works with, he always makes a lot of great magic, especially when it comes to pieces like from Debussy, Richard Strauss, Johann Strauss, Alban Berg, you name it, any other 19th century, 20th century, or even 21st century composer that he specializes in, he can basically do with such magnificence. So overall, this was definitely a very magnificent evening for me, and a very magnificent evening for all of the musicians, and especially for Mr. Albrecht himself. This was definitely worthwhile watching at Amsterdam's most prestigious concert hall. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in tomorrow where I review the Bellatoni Symphony Orchestra, who are also going to be playing again at the Concertgebouw. Until then, this is Antoni signing off and wishing you all a good night. And once again, I hope you all had a very blessed and very happy King's Day.